Hi, Paul Sackers, Good News Plan. I'm speaking to Al Zdenek. Hi, Al. How are you?
Doing great, Paul. How are you doing?
Good. Did I pronounce your name properly?
Actually, it's pronounced Zdenek. The D is silent, but most people sort of stumble over it, so don't worry about it.
Okay. You always see whether they're really responsible and respectful on the way, because my ever-tough last Slatkus, a lot of people don't do so well with that.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure you have the same problems I do, but thank you.
But the way you handle it is always like a statement of who the man is and
That's
woman,
true.
I think. So, and I'm very honored that I get a chance to speak with you. A CPO owner of a New York City-based, here we go too, Traust, Sollus, Wealth Management. All right, help me here.
Oh my God, you pronounced that better than my last name.
Oh yeah,
that's really good. Traust Sollus, right?
All righty, all right. So you're going to give us some information about, financial independence and health, and I think you have a new book called Master Your Cash Flow. Okay, and if you have one, that's a good thing to start off with. And now to master it, that's even better. So, but give us a little background on what you're doing.
Well, as you said, Traust Sollus is a boutique wealth management company in New York. I started as a CPA firm and, quite frankly, changed to wealth management more than 30 years ago because I saw people, when they try to make the right decision for themselves, could not, and sometimes made really poor, disastrous decisions. And quite frankly, my goal in life and my mission in life is to be a powerful, successful influence in a person's life. And quite frankly, make sure they're making the 100% correct financial decision for themselves.
All right. So you're customer-minded.
I'm sorry, say it again?
You're customer-minded. You're customer service. You're about them
to me,
your knowledge.
I think that people have in their mind a way they'd love to live life now and in the future. And I think most people don't live the life they want now, and they don't know what the future holds. And my premise behind my book and behind what I do is that, if you can guide people to make the 100% correct financial decision in every decision they make, lease or buy a car, when they buy a house, whatever they do, is that they can basically live the life they want now and in the future if they make the right decisions. And unfortunately, most people don't. There's poor financial education in our country, and quite frankly, people don't pay enough attention to their finances.
Okay, I agree with you. And there used to be something called savings. Anybody save money nowadays?
Well, I think if you ask especially the younger people, look, you and I have been there. We're going to live forever. And, we don't bother on, what we're doing now for the future. But I'll tell you, I know when we get to our 40s and 50s, and 50 doesn't look that far away, all of a sudden we become a little more serious about this. Savings is a major thing. But, quite frankly, whether you're buying a house, again, renting or leasing a car, there's a lot of things that you making decisions in everyday life that, quite frankly, have a tremendous impact on what you do or what you save or are able to save in the future.
Give us a couple of hints here in your book, Master Your Cash Flow, of, how to do that, how to go about that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Let's start with something really straightforward because this happens to most people in America. You're going to buy a house. When a person buys a house, they think it's sort of like, can I afford it? So it's more or less, a debt decision, right? Can I afford the debt? But I've got to tell you, buying a house is a tax decision, an estate decision, an investment decision, a tax decision, and most people don't look at those other areas. And when I say that, it's like when they're looking at mortgages, they'll look at, should I get a 30-year, a 15-year? And I will tell you, those are multi-million-dollar decisions over a 20, 30-year period of time. And if you don't have the right guidance or don't really think of how it's affecting those other areas, it can either mean that you either have to work more hours or years in your life or less. And so that's what my book tries to really point out, is that sometimes these simple decisions that you think are simple are more, how can I say, they're much deeper rooted than you think.
Are there certain opportunities that people don't know about that are like, say, in the tax codes, okay? Are there things, a good example of something like that? Actually, we're getting close to the 15th of April. Anything that someone should be considering right now?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. For one thing, if someone is looking at, in today's date, mid-March, on like, what can I do before April 15th, you've started at the wrong time. If you don't know what your tax return looks like by the end of the year before, in other words, December of 2016, then you're already behind the 8 ball. Because, if you're waiting till now to see how much you can save, the year is over. There's a couple things you can do, but there's not much. So my advice is that with your tax advisor or with yourself, know what your tax return looks like by the end of the year. Now, that aside, there are a lot of things that people can do when it comes to tax planning. I will tell you one thing that people really overlook. Let's say you work for a company. You could be an executive, a middle manager, and let's say you earn a salary, but you get a bonus. There are some times what you can do is go back to your employer and negotiate how you get paid, because there's many executives I deal with that their bonuses, we have them be paid as consultants because, quite frankly, they are really consultants of the company. If you do that, there are a lot of other deductions and things you can do around pension that can really shelter a lot more income.
Well, that's a good one, Al. That's a good one. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Well, you're asking the right questions. Unfortunately, a lot of people that are at this time of the year, it's kind of hard to plan. But you know what? You can still plan for this year. But again, try to pay attention to what matters most to you, which is like, look, if you're going to look at your finances every so often, it's like I use my tennis analogy. If you're going to play tennis once a month and you want to be a good player, you're not going to play tennis very well. If you want to play tennis once a week or a couple times a week, you'll get better. Start to focus on your finances and your taxes, because if you do that, you might play the game better.
Okay. Let me add just there is one opportunity still, I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong here. You have them to the 15th, to put money into an IRA or put it into Roth or these
That's
things?
True, yes.
Is that right? So
right.
You have one little saving grace here until the 15th?
That is true. You can put money into an IRA. You can put money into a SEP IRA, especially if you're self-employed. You can still set up a pension plan before the 15th and shelter some money. So if you're in that position, do so, because if you can put money into one of these things and you qualify for the tax deduction, the government's going to give you a 25%, 30%, 40% rate of return, because that's how much you could get back for that deduction. And I have to tell you, except recently with the Trump bump, you don't get that type of how can I say, advantage very often.
There you go. What is the website here, Al?
My website is you can go to www.alzdenek, ALZDENEK.com. If you want to find out more information on my book, you can go to Amazon.com, or you can go Google me. And again, you can Google my book, Master Your Cash Flow, and you'll find your way to me. Okay.
All right. Two last quick questions. What's good news for Al? In any aspect
I'm sorry,
what's good news? What's good news for Al?
What's good news for Al? I tell you, I wake up every day being so thankful for the life I lead. Good news for me is like another day in Paris, New York, with the sun rising.
All righty. I'm going to ask you one last question, because we're very involved with the International Day of Peace, World Peace. And asking on September 21st, we do a whole bunch of events and worldwide. And I've asked thousands of people, what does peace mean to them? And so I'm asking you, Al, what does peace mean to you?
Peace means to me is that we be more tolerant of everyone's opinions and stop trying to target or label people, and reach out to them and let them know that whatever they believe, it's respected.
Well stated. Thank you very much, Al. Look forward to seeing you here in New York, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about Master Your Cash Flow. Good job. Thank you.
Great talking to you. You have yourself a great day.
All righty. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.